Well, maybe I'm a little bit biased because I'm anti-Trump, and I've written so much and thinking so much about what's going wrong with him, but now I start to think more about what's going wrong with his voters. I'm thinking about the political culture in the United States. I believe that in this election, the pain is more about the addition rather than the subtraction. I think it's the duel between the new class of voters for Trump as opposed to those people who, for whatever reason, dislike him. So I think he's riding high on popular culture, and there's a deep-seated reason, which I believe is the anti-intellectualism in the United States, because there are so many facts that's going wrong with Trump, including the immigration issue. So my question is, for these unprecedented turnout rate on the Republican side, is that primarily about Trump's appeal? And if that correlation is high, is it an indication of mob rule?
An indication of?
Mob rule.
Mob rule.
Yeah.
Who wants to take it?
The only thing I'll say about that is that the Republican Party establishment does share some blame in the rise of Trump for a lot of reasons, and one of them is that the people who are flocking to Trump are generally feel disenfranchised, feel ignored by the political establishment, by the Republican Party. A lot of them are white, working class men, women. A lot of them, frankly, are maybe not weekly churchgoers, but people of faith who feel like the Republican Party is constantly ridiculing them, the political class is ridiculing their beliefs on social issues. A lot of people feel like they've lost their jobs because of illegal immigration. They feel the economic anxiety of a very slow recovery. And frankly, the Republican Party has, for too long now, I think, been the party of the job creators. Mitt Romney's entire stump speech, I covered Mitt Romney in 2012, was about how we need to champion the job creators, champion the small businessmen. That's great, but the majority of this country is not small businessmen, and the people who are going to vote for Trump are the people who have been laid off by small businessmen. And the Republican Party has not done enough to reach out to those people, to make them feel like they're part of the process, make them feel like they're appreciated and listened to. The last thing I'll say is Trump, I was in Nevada when he won that night. He said something that a lot of people in the political class made fun of. He was going through all the demographics he had won, and he said, I won the poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. A lot of people made jokes about that, and said, oh, look, he's basically admitting that he's conning the ignorant. But I mean, look, like the fact that we can all sit here or on cable news or whatever and make fun of that, but a lot of people are not college graduates, and they feel like the political class has left them behind and is making fun of them and mocking them. And Donald Trump talks to them like they're important, like he cares about them. I personally think he is conning them, but he makes them feel like they're more important than fundraisers and pundits. And until the Republican Party, the rest of the Republican Party can figure that out, there's going to continue to be Trump-like insurgencies.
Well, and it's reinforced by, like I said, in Alabama, where you have the Business Council of Alabama running candidates or funding candidates that the grassroots doesn't like. And the grassroots candidates can't get there, they can't see anything. But on an even more basic level, people, if you talk to people in the South, for example, because that's what I'm familiar with, that's where I'm from, the South, they get upset when they see the guy that was arrested go to the Publix grocery store, and they know he was arrested. They saw on TV he was arrested. He got on bond. He's going to the Publix store, and he's buying crab legs and filet mignons with an EBD card. That is an anthem to them. That is an anthem that they go by, and they're afraid that they've got a Section 8 house that's got granite countertops and stuff. They're living better than they do. There's people in the South that they're on entitlement, and they feel like they're, quote, on the dole, okay? Rightly or wrongly, it's a stereotype. They see these people, they say, on the dole, and they're making more money in benefits than they are that working and making $30,000 a year. The policeman's making $30,000 a year. The school teacher's making $40,000 a year. They're better off, these people that are not giving anything, and it's become it's become almost like widespread. So these are things that people see, and they're seeing these images, and they associate Donald Trump with the savior. They're going to stop all this, whether he doesn't even talk about it, but they see that association. And as he said, it's these people that don't understand enough how the dynamics of government works. They're new to the system. They just say, this guy's going to change things, when they don't understand the nuances of what it really takes to take change. So yes, but I do worry about what's going to happen long term between these clashes of ideas and people and the animosity that's raised by it.
Tom,
Quick-
do you want to say something?
Yeah, quickly. I think it's important to keep sort of this in perspective, and Patty mentioned this earlier, that this is not a phenomenon that is just sort of relegated to Donald Trump. We're seeing the same thing on the other side.
Right.
It's two sides of the same coin,
Right.
right? The angst and anxiety on the right is they look at Washington, they think it's crony capitalism, right? The big government, big business have conspired to stick it to the little guy. On the left, it's the evil 1%ers on Wall Street have rigged the system against you. I went and saw Bernie Sanders in Mason City, Iowa, before the Iowa caucuses, and I hadn't seen him live before. I hadn't seen a full stump speech. I'd only seen the snippets that I got on the TV. And this is truly the year of the demagogue. Bernie Sanders is every bit, Donald Trump is rightly castigated, okay, for scapegoating Mexicans and Muslims and all of that. But Bernie Sanders, if you listen to him on the stump, it's amazing. He is telling people that, I mean, he is not just vilifying industries, he's naming names. He says the reason that you guys are so upset is because the Walton family won't pay their employees $15 an hour. It's because the head of Goldman Sachs is screwing you. I mean, he is naming names. And so, and if you look at Bernie Sanders' poll, he's getting 35%.
Yep.
Donald Trump's getting 35%. The only difference is Bernie Sanders is in a two-person race. Donald Trump was in a 17-person race. Okay, so the phenomenon that's going on is much more sort of dynamic and complicated than just saying these people are all anti-intellectual rubes who are being conned or whatever, and it's much more widespread. I think we really are seeing this is a really interesting and important and I think pivotal moment in American politics.
That's a really good
agree.
point.